am working on another night illustration. Well, I'm thinking this one is more of a sketch because I was planning on using different materials together, just to experiment with different mediums I own. I mostly use gouache though, so I am calling it a gouache sketch, but it's actually a mixed media sketch. As I mentioned in my previous videos, many of them, I can't get these low quality gouaches to cover the paper properly, so I decided to mix it with other paints and just use them for sketches. I started coloring his pencil sketch with the gouache paint. At first, I thought of making his outfit blue with gold details, but it's pretty much the same color combination than my previous night painting, so I wanted to change that. I wanted to use a different set of colors, so I went with a sand brown color instead, like a soft muted darker pink. And I decided to use turquoise or teal blues for the outfit details, since his pants and hair are also brown, darker brown but still brown. I thought it was a nice cohesive look between the hair and the outfit, and using the teal as an accent color. I also added a bit of green in the background for the leaves. I don't think the green is too distracting, but maybe it would have been better to match to the blue-green of the outfit details, just to make it more cohesive. Or I could have just added the same background green to the outfit. And once again, this is another random character that I just came up with. Not a specific character. I just wanted to draw something that I could use to test the mix of painting materials. Something that I wouldn't feel too bad if it didn't come out well, because it's just for experimenting. So I came up with this guy. I think I could have added more details to his outfit, but for a sketch, it's okay. I do like how his hairstyle turned out though. But you can tell how messy it is with the gouache. It's again the white gouache that I can't mix and create the colors properly. It's so watery. I'm just trying to figure out a way to use it in the sketches. At this point, I was done with the gouache. I thought I did as much as I could with it, and I decided to switch to color pencils for details. Something I like is adding brighter colors with the color pencils, like the pink on his skin, and some orange touches on the outfit. I also used them to add darker lines on the leaves in the background. I thought it would be nice to use them to give a bit of details over there. In general, I wasn't liking how it was turning out. So, since it's just for experimenting, I decided to also add some marker in there, and just to see how it would turn out. I was thinking that with the marker I could cover some of the places that the gouache didn't cover, and maybe it will help make it look a bit better. I also did some small hatching on some parts of the vegetation. I do think that with the marker brush strokes, it looks nicer than before. It just covers more, and it also gives a nice sketchy look, as opposed to before with the gouache. I felt like it looked more like a smudge look. I think it looks better with the sketchiness of the markers. But it still wasn't feeling like a finished sketch, so I decided to use the ink lines. I find the ink lines help a lot to give a more polished look to the sketch, to any kind of sketch. I start with the face since it's the most important part of the sketch, and if I ruin the face, I usually give up. Well, not always. If it didn't turn out well on the face, I think I would have repainted it with gouache, then redefined it with the color pencils, and tried again with the ink. It depends on my level of motivation. Sometimes it's easier to cut your losses and start on another piece, like a completely new piece. But that was not the case here, luckily. The lines did help make the sketch look nicer in general, so I felt like it was the right choice. And it's good to know that this is a combination of materials that I can use for other times. If I ever feel like I can't get the gouache sketch to work, I'll just use markers and ink on top to give it a bit of help. I just think that I should focus on more elaborate outfits or designs as well in the future. It's something I should try to practice more. I think it would help in all my fantasy illustrations. I defined some of the leaves with the ink lines too. I think it came out okay as well. I didn't add hatching on them or dark shadows either, because I want them not to take too much attention away from the character. I just want them to kind of fade into the background. Here's the final gouache, color pencil, marker and ink sketch. It was a fun way to test all these materials together, and I know I'll be using a combination like this in the future, because these gouaches are a mess by themselves.